Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a monthly budget recap for October 2024. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. I am filming this video very late. I actually closed out my October 2024 budget probably the first week of November, and I just never got around to filming my actual monthly budget recap, but I have a lot of energy today. I've already filmed 2 Plan With Me's, and I decided to just keep the train moving and finally film my October 2024 budget recap. As you can see in my October monthly spread, everything is checked off, all of my bills, all of my savings challenges that I am contributing to. And so we're going to start out this budget recap by looking first at my debt payment plan. So in years past, I haven't always utilized this page, but I'm definitely liking it a lot now that I'm actively trying to pay off some pretty big debt. I have 2 sources of debt currently. The first is Sikorsky, which is my student loan. No, that's a lie. Sikorsky, which is my car loan. I have $5,861.47 left to pay off. Very exciting. The interest rate's 2%. My monthly payment's a little over $450, and I'd say that's my #1 priority in terms of my debt right now. My second source of debt is my non-net student loan. I have a little under $30,000. Very excited to be under the $30,000 mark. My interest rate is a little over 5%, and my minimum payment due is $400. Now, it's actually a lot more than $400. It's closer to $700, but right now, my employer is paying $333 a month towards my student loans. That's $4,000 a year over the course of 5 years, so they're total going to help me with $20,000 towards my student loans. Now, that's why my monthly payment is able to be a lot lower. That's the amount that's coming out of my pocket. But it's also why this is not my main priority, even though it's a higher interest rate. I do not want to pay off my student loan before I've been fully able to benefit from the $20,000 that my employer is going to help me with. So I'm trying to kind of straddle this line of paying down my student loan so that when that 5 years is over, I don't have a ton left to pay off, but not pay it off too quickly. So I pay off my student loan before I get the full $20,000. I did not do a ton of extra debt payments this month. I did 1 extra Nelnet payment for $310 and then 1 car loan payment for $1,000. Very much trying to pay that car loan off. I think I'll just feel so much better once I have. Now, I don't have the $333 payment from my employer listed here because for some reason there was a delay in it going through, so it didn't end up reflecting on my Nelnet loan in the month of October, which means that I'm going to have 2 reflected in the month of November. So that's why it's not showing down here under extra debt payments. Total for debt this month was $2,166.85. And if we look at my monthly debt progress and my overall debt progress, last month I had a little under $38,000. This month I have a little under $36,000. So that's just over $2,000 in progress, or 5.7%. In terms of my overall debt, this number here, $70,910.32, that was my student loans and my car payment when I bought my new car in June of 2022. I did at one point have more student loans, but again, I wanted to kind of focus on what my debt was when I bought my new car, when my car had the highest loan on it. So that's that. My monthly debt total now is a little under $36,000. Overall, I've made over $35,000 of progress, almost at the 50% mark. We are at 49.7%. Now, if I flip this over, we're going to take a look at my monthly net worth tracker. Yeah, so I closed out my budget on the 5th. I do keep my assets to myself, though I share the total, and my liabilities we just basically talked about on the last page. That's just my 2 sources of debt. So in terms of my assets For the month of October, it was $397,004.93. My total liabilities, $35,701.64. If I subtract my liabilities from my assets, I have a total net worth of $361,303.29. And that's over a $6,000 change from last month, or 1.8%. Now we're going to get into my absolute favorite page in the closeout section, and that is the monthly budget category breakdown. The first part of this is figuring out your total monthly inflow, and that's a combination of several different things. So first is my starting balance. That's the money that I brought into October from September 2024. For me, that was a little over $800. Then we have my earned income. This is just from my full-time job, and that's definitely higher than it normally is. I've been fortunate enough to work quite a bit of overtime lately, and in the month of October, I worked a ton of overtime, so that's a lot higher than normal. I'm very appreciative to kind of have that right now. It's definitely allowing me to pay off my car a little bit quicker and save a little bit more. Other income, this did not include any cash towards my student loan from my employer, but I did return. I had a huge saga going on with Amazon. I bought several different dresses off Amazon that I was going to wear for a graduation party and a wedding, and I bought a ton of different styles, different sizes. I returned them all, and it was weeks and weeks and weeks before I got my refund. It was the weirdest thing. I've never had anything like that happen with Amazon before. So I returned the items in September. I didn't get my refund until the end of October, and that's a huge chunk of what this amount is right here. And then I used about $65 of savings. So all of that added together is my total monthly inflow, which was $9,815.54 for October. Now, if we take a look at my budget categories and the monthly budgeted amounts, these are pretty standard for me. For things that I have a specific budgeted amount for in my paycheck budget trackers, I just multiply that by 2 to come up with my monthly budgeted amount. For something like savings, I always have tried to save about $3,000 a month if I can. And other amounts here, I just kind of loosely add up what those monthly bills usually are, and that's what gives me my total. Now, going through what I spent this month, definitely more green than red, which is great. I spent $328 and change on groceries, under budget by $71. For eating out, I was actually a little over budget, which is definitely very different from where I was around this time last year, but I'm okay with that. Over budget by $4.60. Gas, under budget, I spent $133, which was honestly pretty high for me. And I forget exactly, I think I did a couple longer trips. I'm also driving more because of the overtime for work. It's making me drive an extra 20 to 35 minutes about 2 to 3 times a week. So that's definitely factoring in. Miscellaneous, I underspent. I only spent $145, so under budget by over $200. Miscellaneous bills, this is just a hodgepodge of other spending that I do throughout the month. Things that I buy that maybe I put in my credit card to get cash back that I have to pay off. And so it's not really debt, right? Because I'm paying it off as soon as I spend the money. But it was over $1,000 for the month of October, which I think is very high and definitely want to try to lower in November. For savings, I did save $3,835.42, so I'm very happy about that. Utilities were $364.26, so just slightly under budget. Personal was $57.87, so just slightly under budget. Housing is my rent, $600. Giving, this is my giving to my bank, to my church, which I do every month, so that was right on budget. And then debt, my normal debt payments added together should be around $860, but I did over $2,000, so that's a category where I'm very happy to be over in. Same thing with savings. I'm very happy to be over in that category. And then I did spend out of 3 different sinking funds: household, medical, and Black Friday. Small amounts out of these, but I think we had a Prime Day in October, and so that's why I spent from those categories. Now, we also need to include what our November starting balance was, what money we're rolling over from October into November. If we don't do that, all of our monthly spent isn't going to add up to equal our inflow, which is what we want. We want a zero-based budget. So the cash that I was bringing into November from October was $809.30. And if I add everything up together, we did come up with a total of $9,815.54, which matched my inflow, which means we were off by $0 for this budget. Now, the last page that we're going to be looking at is my monthly debt and savings breakdown. I'm not sure if this is in the Paycheck Budget Tracker for 2025. I'm not 100% on that. I know the following page, the monthly spending comparison isn't, which is kind of why I've stopped doing it. But in terms of this monthly debt and savings breakdown, for debt, I had a total monthly inflow of $9,800 and change. My debt payoff was $2,100 and change. That was about 22% of my inflow that went to debt. And as you can see, quite a bit more of that went to my Sikorsky car loan than my Nelnet student loan. Again, very much trying to actively pay off my car since I'm getting really close to paying it off, and since I have to be cautious about how quickly I'm paying off my student loan. So over $1,400 towards my car loan, and then just over $700 towards my student loan. In terms of my savings, we go based off of income, not inflow. So this is $65 less than that number because we use $65 of savings in the month of October. So $9,750 and change. And then monthly savings was $3,835.42, which was about 39.3% of my income, which is a really great percentage. I'm very happy with that. And the way that that broke down, number one on there was sinking funds, which I'm happy with. I'm a little bit surprised, but I'm satisfied with it. I did start saving for my 2025 sinking funds, and I am putting a little bit of extra cash towards some of my sinking funds right now in preparation for a vacation I want to go on early next year. So $1,850 towards sinking funds. My 2024 challenge gets $160. My 52-week challenge got $42. My $5 challenge got $90. House savings was the second highest amount, $1,621.42. This one, I wouldn't have been surprised if this was the highest, but again, I'm putting a little extra towards sinking funds right now. And then my emergency fund got $49. So definitely a lot of savings challenges in here, but the two most important categories to me are definitely my sinking funds and my house savings. So I'm glad to see that those are the highest amounts that we saved for. And just to kind of share with you all in terms of like the way my challenges are going right now, I am going to, okay, so $5 challenge, I've been keeping up with that. I have my tracker in here. 2024 challenge, I've been keeping up with this one as well. Not too much longer to go. 52-week challenge, which I'm doing in reverse, keeping up with this one. I actually don't think I'm going to do this in 2025. I think I'm going to lessen my savings challenges so that I can put more cash towards certain savings goals in each paycheck. So I don't think I'm going to be doing this for 2025, though I am putting together a 2025 savings challenge. In terms of my house savings, we are keeping going with this one. I know that I haven't really been very consistent with my budget with me's and cash envelope stuffings in the last several months. I did film a cash envelope stuffing for the last paycheck in October. I edited it 3 different times. It would not render on my computer. Very, very frustrating. So that video was filmed. It just never made it up for you all. And then the first paycheck in November, because I'm filming this so late in November, I just didn't have the bandwidth, capacity, or energy to actually film that. Car loan, keeping up with that, getting closer and closer. Once this is completely filled in, my car will be completely paid off. So that's very, very exciting. And then student loan, continuing to save on this one. It's exciting to think that I put $7,000 towards my student loan so far in 2024. And I normally will pull out my $5 challenge container and put my fives in it in this video, but I actually started adding fives for November into my envelope, and I don't want to have to kind of like pull out bills and count things up. So I'll end up doing that in my November budget recap. And so that is going to be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed taking a look at how I close out my budget for October 2024. I'm trying to close out the year strong. I'm trying to make sure I close out my budget for these last several months of the year so that I can start off 2025 strong. I'm very, very excited for 2025. I'm excited to be in a physical budget by Paycheck Workbook for the first time in many, many years. I'm currently trying to figure out how to make that work with certain trackers that I create for myself for savings challenges and for other things that I'm saving for or paying off. And so I will be sharing that video with you all closer to the end of the year, but very, very excited about it. And that is going to be it. If you all have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to put a comment down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.